Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Bushman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at each life path number, the forecast for the new moon that's occurring on September 14th or 15th, depending on where you live within the world. So before we break it down, I just want to mention that this is, of course, a general reading. If you're interested in a personalized reading where we'll take a look at your own personal numerology in a variety of ways, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Life Path 3. So with this new moon, you are working with the energy of the cricket and you're working with the energy of the 7. So this is really interesting energy. So with the 7, there's definitely something here about grounding your very sort of more inspirational ideas, right? So what I mean by that is, especially with 3 energy, because 3 is the energy of creation and creativity. And so there's always sort of this like creative life force sort of moving through you. And I would say that for anybody, but really for 3s, it's like, it can just sort of be constant, right? This is a big part of that journey for the 3. And so when the 7 comes in, it's saying, okay, we need to take those very creative ideas. We need to take that creative life force and we need to move it through us in a way that we're manifesting something. We're creating something very tangible, very real. It's no longer just ideas. It moves from the idea realm into the physical realm. And the 7 sort of assists in doing that, especially when it shows up in a cycle, and especially during a new moon, because new moons are like new initiations, new starts. So I think you're really getting the green light with this energy, with this 7, in taking those big ideas and moving them in whatever way you need to, from that more ethereal realm into the very physical realm. And so manifesting from the unmanifest, from the ideas, which is all about creation. That is creativity, right? And so with the 7, it's saying, use both sides of yourself in a sense, right? Because the 7 can be very physical, logical, knowledgeable, but it's also very spiritual, wise. It can also be very like intuitive as well. There's a big dreamscape with 7 energy. So again, there's a lot of big dreams coming in, and the 7 is meant to create something with those big dreams. And so when it comes in as a cycle, like for you all, really what I'm getting here is for you all to ground that energy, to really focus that energy in some way, that creative energy, and to, just create something tangible. So if there's anything that you've been sort of, I don't know, kind of kicking around and thinking like, oh, I would really love to do X, Y, or Z. This is a great time to initiate that, to get focused on it and to start planning on how you want to do that. And then follow through with it and stick with it and keep going until it comes to fruition. Because it can take some time, obviously, to move, from the unmanifest to the manifest. But this is really beautiful energy. And this is such a great time to start that under this new moon. So I would also say pay attention with this 7 energy to any of your dreams, to any of your insights that come through, visions, ideas, inspirations. Write them down, come back to them, and decide what ones you really want to ground. What ones do you want to plant those seeds to see it grow? Because you're going to have to be the one that nurtures it to see it grow. You're going to be the one who has to build it and call in the people to help you to do that. But whatever it is that you initiate under this new moon with this 7 energy, really wants to be sort of birthed into the physical plane, really wants to be tangible. So pay extra attention to those creative ideas that come in for you now, because it's not a coincidence. It's something that really wants to be birthed through you, right? Like some creative baby that wants to be birthed through you. It could be an actual physical baby as well, if that's something you're interested in. But it's, definitely those ideas and inspirations want to move through you right now and want to experience, take on a life of their own type thing through your creation, your creativity. With cricket energy coming through, you could notice a lot of like serendipitous moments, a lot of synchronicities, a lot of things just sort of happening by magic. And that also goes along with the 7, because the 7 is also a very sort of psychic, and the veil is thin with 7 energy. So there can be like things that come in where it's like our spirit guides or spirit or just our higher consciousness, our higher self is coming through to be like, okay, this is what we want to focus on. This is what we want to create. Let's do it. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like that feeling of you're walking down the street and you're like, oh, I want to go into this shop. And so you go into and it's not something you had on your mind, but you go into the shop and then something happens and then something else happens and then something else happens. And it just sort of starts to unfold this beautiful plan for the future that you never would have thought of had you not listened to your sort of intuition or your gut feeling and went inside the shop. So it's those kind of moments that can kind of happen around this new moon. So pay attention. Same thing with, again, definitely pay attention to your dreams. So if there's something that you dream and you remember that dream when you wake up and it keeps coming in, write it down and revisit it, because there's probably some kind of little golden nugget there that wants to be like mined. It wants to be explored and created into something beautiful and, used in some way. The other thing with cricket, this is interesting. So with cricket, I'm getting like this energy of like moral compass. And so I think of like Pinocchio, if you're familiar with the story of Pinocchio, and like there was Jiminy Cricket was his little sidekick or whatever. And it was like Jiminy was his moral compass. And so kind of helped to try to keep him on track, so that he could become a real boy or whatever. I can't remember exactly the story, but Jiminy was like the little moral compass. So there's definitely something here about through this process over the course of those couple of weeks where you're sort of immersed in this 7 cycle, really pay attention to your intuition, to your inner knowing, to that feeling inside that's saying, go into the store, or say yes, or say no, or if an idea keeps coming through and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. How am I ever going to do that? There's never going to happen. If it keeps coming through and keeps coming through and keeps coming through, pay attention to it. Because that's your little Jiminy Cricket saying, this is for us. This is for us. Let's do this. Let's do this. So pay attention to that. The other thing is with cricket, there's something about like personal freedom, right? Like being able to like go wherever you want or do what you want type thing without being too overly restricted, which I know is probably music to a lot of 3's ears, because a lot of 3's, it is a big energy, right? And so it is a creative energy, and creation is big and messy and fun and jovial and, explores and all these things. And there is something here about if you're neglecting that side of yourself, if you're like sort of not allowing yourself to experience life in that way, this could be a time around this new moon where, yes, there's a calling to get grounded, and yes, there's a calling to ground those big ideas. But there's also this call of that freedom of expression and freedom to create what it is that you want to create and give yourself permission to do that. What inspires you? And if you don't know, the best way to figure it out is through play. So if you're not sure and you're at a crossroads and you're not sure what to do, the best thing you can do is to just stop and play. Have fun. Do what makes you laugh and have a good time, because that's what's going to bring the inspiration. That's what's going to bring the insights. It can come through your dreams, but when we're playing, when we're having fun, so much can come through. So much can come through. And this is such like a fertile time for you all 3's, where what comes through now really wants you to pay attention and to do something with it and to create something with it. So I absolutely love this energy. Like, this is such light, buoyant, beautiful energy. And for 3's, I love it for you all. So I hope it's a beautiful new moon. Take advantage of it. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.